How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you all made it through that snowstorm. I know I did. I played some snow football. I did a lot of shoveling, so that's where I'm at. Got a lot of prospect talk here today for you all. First, I want to start off with some of the top prospects of the Philadelphia Phillies. We will see in Major League Spring Training. Justin Crawford, as expected. Aiden Miller, their top prospect all of a sudden now, their top infield prospect. Arun Escobar, another top infield prospect, and Dante Nori, the kid they just drafted the other year out of high school, the outfielder. They were all invited as non-roster invitees to Major League Spring Training this year by the Phillies. Andrew Painter, their top pitching prospect, we all know he doesn't need a non-roster invitee. He will be at Major League Spring Training. He is expected to be in the 2026 Major League rotation with the Phillies, but since he was added to the 40-man roster this offseason, he does not need that non-roster invitee. So Justin Crawford, Aiden Miller, Arun Escobar, and Dante Nori, some of their top prospects, will be invited. Obviously, Justin Crawford is expected to make the Major League team and be in the outfield playing a lot there, as well as Andrew Painter, as I said, in the starting rotation. But we'll see what Aiden Miller, Escobar, and Nori can all do if they get any significant chances here at Big League Spring Training. I think last time I saw there were a total of 27 non-roster invitees announced for the Phillies to Spring Training at the Big League level. So there's that. A lot of guys trying to make this team. Not a lot of spots for these guys to make the team, but we'll see if anybody can break through and make a name for themselves. Spring training right around the corner. Starts in less than a month at this point. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Much appreciated as always. Sticking on the prospects side of things. As promised, I didn't get to say it last week because I had made the video, uploaded the video before the MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospects of 2026 were revealed. We knew the top 10 positional rankings for each position: catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, outfield, left-handed pitching, right-handed pitching. The Phillies had 3 prospects on those top 10s. We had Andrew Painter at the number 4 right-handed pitching prospect for 2026, Arun Escobar, number 7 second base prospect, and Aiden Miller, the number 9 shortstop prospect. Justin Crawford was not in the top 10 for outfields. Again, that was just outfield in general, so not left field, center field, right field by themselves. All of the top 10, all 3 of those positions combined into one, so he was not in the top 10 for outfield as a collective, but in the top 100, Aiden Miller, he was the Phillies' top-ranked prospect. He is the number 23 prospect in that top 100 in baseball, ahead of Andrew Painter, who has been the Phillies' top prospect for some time now. Andrew Painter not too far behind Aiden Miller, though. Andrew Painter ranked at number 28 in all of baseball in that top 100. And then Justin Crawford, who wasn't in the top 10 outfields, he is number 53 for the top 100 prospects heading into 2026. Arun Escobar, despite being number 7 second base prospect in the top 10 there, he is not on the top 100 prospects list by MLB Pipeline. So Aiden Miller, number 23, Andrew Painter, number 28, and Justin Crawford, number 53. 2 of those 3 will most likely be on the opening day roster. Aiden Miller, again, invited to spring training at the big league level as a non-roster invitee, made it to AAA at the very end of 2025 season. So maybe he could make a name for himself, and maybe we can see him up there as well at some point here in 2026 with the big league club and the Phillies. Switching gears a little bit, sticking on the trend of maybe new guys, or not necessarily new guys, but a face that we could see here in 2026 on this team, even an outfielder. And is that still a possibility to bring back Harrison Bader? We all loved Harrison Bader. He was a great midseason acquisition from the Minnesota Twins at the trade deadline for the Phillies. He had just an incredible run in those final 2 months of the regular season with the Phillies. Arguably played the best baseball of his entire major league career in those 2 months with the Phillies. Unfortunately, got hurt with the quad or the hamstring, whatever injury it was, groin, whatever it was there in the NLDS against the Dodgers. So that kind of hurt the Phillies there. He was a good energy guy, a good spark plug, and obviously played elite defense and was having tremendous success offensively as well with the Phillies. He got hurt, though, Harrison Bader, in the NLDS, and we didn't really get to see him much in that 4-game loss to the Dodgers there to eliminate the Phillies early in the playoffs. But could he potentially still return to the Phillies? He's a free agent here. He's arguably the best outfielder left in free agency. I'd say definitely, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree on that. He is the best outfield option for any team needing outfield help. The Phillies obviously still have a very uncertain outfield. They're still trying to get rid of Nick Castellanos. However, he's still under contract here with the Phillies for the 2026 season. We'll see if a trade or release happens anytime soon. Probably should. If, again, spring training is right around the corner, and then the regular season following not too far from that. Really can't keep him here. It just doesn't make sense anymore, especially after signing Adolis Garcia in right field. But Justin Crawford, he's still a question mark. He's got a lot of potential for him. Great, a lot of stuff to like about him, but has never played at the major league level. We don't know if he can be a full-time everyday center fielder or left fielder wherever he plays. Then you have Brandon Marsh, who's a platoon kind of guy. He can't really hit left-handed pitching. They're looking into other right-handed options. Harrison Bader, he is a right-handed hitter, had a lot of success, as we all know, with the Phillies this past year in 2025. MLB insider Mark Feinstein, he recently said, quote, a reunion with the Phillies can't be ruled out, though that seems like a long shot at this point, talking about Harrison Bader returning to the Phillies. Again, it really never felt like it was going to make sense here with the Phillies just because they have some money committed to the outfield. They're trying to get Justin Crawford playing a lot. Harrison Bader, one of the top outfielders in all free agency. Even before all the top options were gone, he was still one of the better options, especially as a right-handed hitting perspective. So the money he was looking for, the multi-year deal he was looking for, didn't really make sense initially, but he's still unsigned as we're getting close to February now, as we're getting close to spring training. So maybe his market didn't really shape up the way he thought it would, and maybe you can get him on a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal with an opt-out after the first year, and probably for less money than he was hoping for this offseason and free agency. Feinstein mentioned the Mets of all teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Cardinals as teams in need of outfield help. That could go after Harrison Bader. Hopefully the Mets don't get him, because that would just be another just kick you while you're down moment for the Phillies, because obviously all these moves, major moves the Mets have made this offseason, especially as of late, getting Harrison Bader to help their outfield and join that with now Luis Robert Jr. and a few other guys just would be bad news for the Phillies. He obviously was with the Mets before Harrison Bader, but hopefully he does not sign back with the Mets this offseason. That would just be horrible news for the Phillies and make us all feel a lot worse about this offseason that the Phillies have had. Harrison Bader, though, don't want to commit too much to him, especially financially and years-wise, because, again, 31-year-old outfielder, right-handed hitter, though, what they're looking for, what they could use, but other than these 2 months that he had with the Phillies, that incredible run offensively, defensively he had, if you really look at his career in the majors, that was a very much so of an outlier for success, especially from the offensive side of things for Harrison Bader. It's hard to imagine he will be able to play at that high of a level all season long with the Phillies. He has extensive injury history throughout his career as well, and obviously at 31 years old, it's hard to stay on the field every day as you get older, but it is a tempting reunion, and a reunion that could still obviously make sense here for the Phillies and Harrison Bader if they go that route. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they can get a deal done with Harrison Bader that makes sense both for him and for the Phillies, and it would definitely improve their odds and improve their outfield and their lineup with Harrison Bader. Speaking of the Mets, Harrison Bader potentially potentially rejoining with the Mets, and just the Mets in general having this really just crazy offseason that they had. I'm sure you saw it over the weekend or whenever it happened late last week. Ben Davis, now, if you watch Phillies games, you know who Ben Davis is. If you don't, or you just don't know who Ben Davis is, former player, not that good of a player, but he was a former Major League player, catcher. I think he plays in first base maybe, but played, for the most part, he was a catcher in his baseball career. Ben Davis, he has been on Phillies pregames, the postgame shows. He's sometimes one of the broadcasters during the games. Ben Davis was talking about the Mets on one of the Philadelphia radio stations, whether it was 97.5 The Fanatic or 94.1 WIP. I forget which one it was. Might have been WIP. Not 100% sure. But Ben Davis said, quote, the Mets, quote, give off the vibe that they're losers. Pretty funny stuff. He absolutely just flamed the Mets and how their organization is run and just how he thinks of them. Obviously, again, being from the Philadelphia area, being linked with the Phillies, working with the Phillies, and, you know, that kind of thing Ben Davis does, again, pregame, postgame shows with NBC Sports Philadelphia during the broadcast as well as sometimes as a broadcaster. So he's got a lot of stake here with the Phillies. He also went on to say, quote, about the Mets, the fact that he, talking about Bo Bichette, says that the Mets, committed to winning. And then he went on to say, like the Phillies aren't, come on, man, blow that smoke somewhere else. He went on to say, that's a losing organization up there. It just is. So it was just kind of funny stuff out of Ben Davis I wanted to bring up just because makes us feel a little bit better. Obviously, the Mets have made a lot of significant moves, made us feel worse about how the Phillies offseason has gone, especially when they stole Bo Bichette from the Phillies, or at least it seemed like they stole Bo Bichette from the Phillies. A lot of people are starting to feel a little bit better about everything once, the dust settled and you got to think about more stuff. But again, just funny stuff out of Ben Davis. Speaking of free agency and moves that the Phillies could still make to improve their roster here in 2026, could the Phillies go after another pitcher? A lot of rumors and a lot of reports out there saying the Phillies could look into adding another starting pitcher to the rotation, even though they have Zach Wheeler, who's obviously coming back from injury. We don't know if he's going to be back opening day, but all reports say he's progressing well. Could be back opening day, more likely maybe a month or so into the season, a couple weeks into the season, and he'll be back. But we don't know at his age how he's going to come back from that injury, if he's going to be the same ace, the same Cy Young caliber player for them. A lot to be seen there, but you obviously have Aaron Nola under contract. He's trying to bounce back from a tough 2025 season. You got Jesus Luzardo in a contract year. You got Andrew Painter expected to join your starting rotation. Then you have Christopher Sanchez, as we all know, the Phillies' current ace, 2025 National League Cy Young runner-up. So a very solid starting rotation. You don't have Ranger Suarez anymore in the picture. He signed that big deal with the Boston Red Sox in free agency. I never really thought it made sense to add another starting pitcher, but I guess a back-end kind of starting pitcher just to have depth and an insurance in case Wheeler's not back right away or he's not the same guy he used to be, in case Aaron Nola has another bad year, in case Andrew Painter's not ready to be in the Major League starting rotation or other injuries happen. So I think the Phillies should look into maybe back end of this rotation kind of starters or guys that are willing to be swingman relievers, swingman pitchers, guys with bullpen experience, just because if this starting rotation, the 5 that I named right off there, are a good starting rotation in 2026, then those are the 5 guys, and then you don't have room for another legitimate, true starting pitcher in that rotation. Zach Littell, he's an option for the Phillies, one of the better options still on the market. 30-year-old free agent right-handed pitcher, mostly a starter. Now he does have bullpen experience. He was a reliever turned starter during the 2023 season with the Tampa Bay Rays. Majority of his first 6 seasons came as a reliever between the Minnesota Twins, San Francisco Giants, the Red Sox, and then the Rays. Very inconsistent as a reliever through those first 6 parts of his first major league seasons there, which is why the Rays kind of experimented and moved him to the starting rotation, and it's worked out very well for them and for Zach Littell. 3.63 ERA in 29 starts in his first full season as a starter in 2024 with the Rays. Very solid. 10-8 with a 3.81 ERA and a complete game in 32 starts between the Rays and the Cincinnati Reds in 2025. So another very good season as a full-time starting pitcher for Zach Littell for his first 2 years as a full-time starter. Very good stuff. Again, very inconsistent as a bullpen kind of guy, reliever there in parts of his first 6 seasons in the majors. But he still has that experience. He could be a swingman, as I said, if he's willing to do so. The Phillies have been linked to starting pitchers, as I mentioned. Again, insurance for Zach Wheeler if he's not ready and if he's not the same guy after his injury. Andrew Painter as well. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. He had some struggles in AAA in 2025 coming back from Tommy John, but he's got all the talent in the world. He's expected to have a very, very good career at the major league level, but he may not be ready. He's still a young guy, still developing. So if Zach Littell is willing to be a swingman reliever, swingman starter, and not a full-time starter throughout the 2026 season, I think the Phillies should pounce at signing him, especially at this point in the offseason. Again, at this point in the offseason, you're not really going to sign guys to big, huge contracts just because, especially with the top free agents off the board, it just doesn't make sense. Their markets don't develop the way they are. They're trying to join a team. They're trying to get into a lineup, a roster, a pitching staff to understand what everything's going on, to get comfortable and get ready for this season. So maybe you get Zach Littell and maybe for a 1 or 2 year deal in the $10 to $12 million range, which could be a fair price at this point in the offseason. And it would definitely help the Phillies pitching staff overall, having him as a starting pitching option and a bullpen option moving forward in the 2026 season. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Much appreciated as always. You guys know that. Stay tuned all offseason long. We're getting closer to actual baseball here, so that's exciting stuff. Still a lot to talk about. Still a lot of rumors going on in Phillies land, so stay tuned with us here at Phillies Daily. And as always, go Phils.